Hello, good evening, everybody. Tonight we will have a great show, I hope. Now, but we have a good show. But tonight, before we get started, I want to dedicate every week we come on, I like to dedicate the show to different people. Tonight, I like to dedicate the show to Rashi, who works for Parks and Recreation. Rashi's one of them type of guys who he does a lot. A lot of people don't realize some of the things he does. Like right now, they're doing a ping pong tournament. He teaches karate. He's teaching the kids how to play chess. He's a big mentor for a lot of kids in the community, but he doesn't go around bragging about some of the things that he does. But again, and he's been doing it for years and years. And he's one of the few, I think, the video, when Howard went undefeated, he was in the 10th grade. It was only two 10th graders, and Rashi was one of them. But again, he just does so many great things for our community, and we need more people like Rashi. So tonight, Rashi, the show is dedicated to you, and just continue to do a great job. And I just wish we can duplicate you and have more people like you, Rashi. So again, the show is dedicated to you and for Parks and Recreation. Tonight, show is we're gonna talk about jobs, and I have some. I think I have a great panel, and I'll let him introduce himself. But before I let him introduce himself, we have a county exec. I believe he's the only person ever went three terms. Also, we have Senator McDowell. I believe 40 years, the longest sitting senator. And done great. Both of these young men have done great legislation. And then we have John Flaherty, who I call him a walking encyclopedia. I mean, anything you want to know, this guy has it. So before we get to the questions, I'll let these young men introduce themselves, and then we'll start asking questions. So.
I'm Tom Gordon, County Executive.
Okay.
Short and sweet. I'm Harris McDowell, State Senator.
I'm John Flaherty, friend of Julius and the lobbyist for the Longshoremen's Union.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's great to be working with you, Julius.
Always. I mean, again, he's helped the port a lot. As a matter of fact, everybody up here who's done a lot of things for the port, and continue about jobs. But one of the things, one more thing, I'm sorry, I forgot that I wanted to say. I want to thank some people on the Sunset Committee. I'd like to thank the whole Sunset Committee first, but I'd like to thank the chairman, Jerry Brady, and Stephanie Bowden, sorry, for looking after the port's interests, because the Port of Wilmington was supposed to take care of some things and they didn't, and they tried to back doors, and the legislators did their job and they stopped it again. But I want to thank Stephanie and Brady for doing an excellent job on the Sunset Committee and the whole Sunset Committee. But I definitely wanted to point out these two young people for doing an excellent job. So right now, I want to talk about jobs. Right now, Delaware is we having some problems, but right now we need some jobs, Tom. And again, how do you think that you can help us create jobs and some of the things that you're working on?
Not to blame anybody, but since '08, I think we have been going downhill. We are the last state in the union in terms of job wages. I had a couple consultants, and they both think that the biggest opportunity and one of the largest and only opportunities is we were a God-given area of location with the river. So that anything you do on a river in terms of port, container port, cargo port, improvement in that area, basically we borrow money from everybody and we buy their junk and we bring it into the port. That's our future, so let's get good at it, because we're in the center of the hub of where when China ships something into the West Coast, they ship it here. We're in the center of 40% of the country's population, and we're not using our port. We're picking up about 0.5% of the cargo. And the rest goes to Philly, Trenton, New Jersey, New York, and all the other ports. So we need to take advantage of those good jobs, and we could create 50, 60, 70,000 jobs by expanding the port. And I've been working on it for 2 years, so I'm a little prejudiced. Yeah. Senator saw a committee meeting last week where we brought an engineer down and he saw the facts.
And that meeting was set up by, I believe, State Rep Charles Potter.
Charles Potter has been a champion. He brought in the Speaker of the House, who gave us a fabulous hour and let the people involved speak. You know, you're involved in the board.
Yes.
This was Booby Jack and Komoko, and they're a fantastic consultant that they had.
And again, at the last meeting I wasn't there, but I'll be at the next one because due to my scheduling. But Senator McDowell, you was there at the meeting, and what do you think?
Well, I think it's a really interesting proposition, a great way to create more jobs by expanding the port. Now, I think one of the things we have to make sure of, and Executive Gordon has assured me that this is a part of the plan, make sure this is not sort of in some way in competition with the existing port. It will be done in conjunction, coordination with the existing Port of Wilmington, because we don't want to set up a situation where we gain a little here and lose a little there. So I think it's very good. Now, the thing that is very, very good about it is they're not asking for state capital money to get things done. They've got private investors, as you can see, and Tom was absolutely right about this area being so perfectly located. Not only do we have the river out to the ocean so that they can come right in, but also we have we're right in the central part of the largest concentration of people in the country, and they're serviced by one roadway, that's I-95, that goes from here north and south. And within a half a day's drive of leaving the Port of Wilmington, there are 35 million people. And so that is opportunity on a stick for us to get economic development.
Now, John, again, you was a champion. Definitely, you was a lobbyist helping us when, the port right now a spinoff of almost 16,000 jobs. And again, I haven't seen the information or the facts yet. So, and again, so till I get a chance to look at everything, but I'm all about creating jobs without losing jobs, like you said. So, we want to make sure that everybody's protected and it can grow. But if right now, if it spins off at 16,000 jobs, what do you think?
Well, we were talking about this earlier. This afternoon, I'm watching this television show called Undercover Boss. And it's a show where the chief executive officer goes out and gets a blue-collar job with various companies. And the company they profiled today was Chiquita Banana. So immediately I called you up and said, Chiquita Banana, they're a big dog there at the port, and they may have the city of Wilmington highlight, and sure enough they did. The chief executive officer went to Boston at the Chiquita Distribution Center. He talked about Wilmington being one of the finest ports in the entire country, importation for fresh fruits and vegetables, bananas, nectarines from Morocco. But they had a segment on the Port of Wilmington, and the chief executive officer didn't do a very good job in Wilmington. They wouldn't have got hired, they said, but he was very effusive in his praises for the Port of Wilmington. And Chiquita's been there for many, many years, along with Dole. And it's, like as Senator McDowell was saying, it's centrally located. You get those trailers of bananas, you hook them up to a truck, and off you go, either north or south of Interstate 95. So it's centrally located. The channel's right there, 45 feet on the river, and it's the first port on the Delaware River. So it's got a good location, and I think with the Panama Canal expanding, there should be some opportunities for increased business there at the port.
Let me make a couple points. The President of the United States came to the port and asked for a P3. That's a public-private partnership. Next door, there's a partner that, it wasn't me, it was the longshoremen, it was you guys, it was Komoko, Mr. Harris, who said who owns the land and made the connection. So it becomes one port. Longshoremen run it, it becomes the Port of Wilmington. But the President then sent down his transportation people, and they would like to stamp this as their first project. So you got the President of the United States wants to regulate it, wants to help it, wants to finance some of it, because they need a port we need ports in this country. And we also found out that there's probably 29 states, farmers, that will ship food out of here because they have to get down to Mississippi. If you're east of the Mississippi, you now have to go down to New Orleans. So this thing, you have about a crane and a half right now in the port. One's 29 years old, one's 19.
Right.
And you have 15,000 jobs. So if you do the math, 7 to 17 cranes in this land here, it's no exaggeration when these guys talk about, and this is not my port, it's going to be a state port. We talk about 40,000 jobs. That's what Wilmington needs. I mean, the reason we're having problems is because we lost, Chrysler, GM, because the energy costs went up 60%. We're 25% higher than any other state in this country. Energy costs. There's not much coming. You read today about DuPont's leaving, possibly. We need jobs that pay livable wages, and this is the only opportunity you got. You know of one, because I don't know that.
We have an advisory board, and our union promoted to have advisory board, and we're on the advisory board. And again, I'd like to thank Senator Blevins for appointing me on the advisory board. But I just believe if we partner up with University of Delaware, where you can get, because there's so many things that need to be studied, the marina and all that, and we partner up with some of these schools and get better training, I think we can get more money and more jobs.
Since we announced it, there's 4 other ports trying to outbeat us. Camden, Philly's cleaning up. They're trying to stop it because nobody's going to pass this port to go to Philly. I'm sorry, but I'm not worried about Philly. I'm not worried about Camden. I'm not worried about Trenton. I'm not worried about New York. If we take 2% of it, you'll create 40,000 jobs. You do a study, you waste it. We should be already gone. It's been a year. We can study this thing till Wilmington has no jobs left, and we have the, twice the murder rate. Well, we can move and create jobs overnight and get people back to work.
And Joyce, if I put to that, I mean, the other thing, one of the really great assets we have is our guys in the existing port have proven that they can work. They get a trailer out and on the road, off the ship, out and on the road, faster than any other port in the country. If you compare them to Jersey City, which is one of the big ones on the East Coast, it's 8 to 10 times faster. They get it out in minutes here, and up there they're talking about hours.
Yeah.
So that's a huge asset.
Everywhere, everybody who comes down at the Port of Wilmington, the truckers and everybody, they say that we have the best workforce, period,
Absolutely.
second to none. And they said if we have more work, we have better facilities, that they would bring all the work here because of our workforce. So like you said, some guys up there, the other states, they take hours getting stuff out. We get it in and out. We got a great workforce.
It's a workforce.
And
If I can add to that, now that's where another thing that I'm very interested in. I've created the SEED program to help kids, because most of the jobs at the port do not require a college degree, but there'll be a few. When you create that many new jobs, there will be now, there'll be a lot of technical type positions. And so helping kids get the proper training and education. In some cases it might be a full college degree, and some it might be just an advanced crane operation and things like that. We have the tools here in Delaware with our with the SEED program, with the Deltec
Right.
operations that are very limber and very able to react to the immediate needs of a new hiring entity to get the kind of training to their people they need.
okay.
Julius,
Great, John.
back in 1997, I walked into his office, Senator McDowell's office. He says, "John, take a look at what I got here." It was some kind of educational program out of Georgia. I said, sounds interesting. And it took it passed the Senate, but got held up in the House and went back and forth. But eventually it got passed both the House and Senate and became the SEED program, I think 2005 or 6. And you deserve a lot of credit for that. Obama came out with that in the State of the Union address this year for a national thing. Yeah, we already have it here in Delaware. It's been going on for about 10 years, thanks to, I just happened to walk into his office.
But see,
he's preaching the choir, hey, look at this.
You stole my line. That was one of the things I wanted to say, was that it's taken the president 20 years, something that you've done 20 years ago. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you call him and whisper in his ear and tell him about this?
Well, I'm not exactly on an everyday get up and read the morning paper and call him up to see what he thinks, but No, so I didn't have the opportunity to do that. I've met the president a couple of times, and he is, I think, one of the greatest presidents we've ever had.
Tell everybody what the SEED, for the viewing audience who don't know what the SEED program is, can you explain to everybody what the SEED program
Yeah,
is?
it's pretty simple to do. We're the only state that can say this, the way we can say it, that we can look every young person and their family in the eye and say, you can go to college, and it's not a promise, it's the law. And here's what the law now says. If a kid in high school gets a 2.5 index, that's a C+ average, they have no felony convictions, and they have no record of drug abuse. Those three qualifications are all that are needed. We will pay 2 years of college. And right now we've had, I think, somewhere north of 5,000 kids. I go, almost everywhere I go, I run into families who come up to me and say, oh, thank you so much for doing that. And I have to say, I had a lot of great allies in the legislature and in the government, mostly Governor Ruth Ann Minner, because I had failed for 8 years to get it done. And she came in and she helped me work out some compromises with people whose votes we needed. And we got it done.
One of the things I would like to see, I wrote up a program for training, educating the port of job training skills. And it seemed like and it's also saved the port money as far as pipe fitting, all kind of different training skills. But if you come up with an idea, because you came up with it, they don't want it. But I think a better training workforce, you're going to create more jobs, and I don't understand. I don't understand it, but I'm gonna get back to that. But one of the things I wanted to say with Delaware Liberal, they wanted to check to see what people thought about you in the county. Delaware Liberal is the blogs, so they took a vote to see how effective you were, what people thought about your work. They voted 70% of job performance. That's high. 70% of people in the county think that you're doing an excellent job.
I usually don't do well in Delaware Liberal. That's it.
Well, but they can't. The facts are the facts.
That's it.
So, but I wanted you to know that, and also, April is Fair Housing Month. Explain what that means?
Well, it goes way back to the Johnson administration, where there was discrimination in housing eds. In the 60s, you had a white flight from the city, but the blacks were forced into areas of the city weren't allowed to move into counties. So you end up with an entire county going into the 80s, a lot with deed restrictions saying no blacks allowed. And that law eliminated that, but we still have a lot of discrimination in housing. There's still got to be. We tried to do workforce housing, ran into a lot of blocks. People don't understand it. So you need to know the history of why deseg resulted because the entire county was white, and they decided they had to bring blacks out so they could have some in the county instead of dealing with the housing problem in the 60s. Now they dealt with it in a form that totally destroyed the black family, I think. This terrible thing that we have 4 schools busing kids out of the city when nobody else gets bused. It's a horrible thing. It's got to stop. And I think Wilmington needs its own high school. And I think charter schools are just resegregating the schools again, and it's a horrible thing. So there, I've said it.
And I don't want to keep bringing this name up again. Childs put another bill in to
Charles Potter.
Yes,
he's doing
state
a fabulous
representative.
job, and he's a great champion for the city of Wilmington.
Yeah, he put a bill in to referendum for schools to stop charter schools for 3 years. I believe it's 3 years, and to get a handle on it. And like you said, they're
Working
cherry
hard.
picking. It's in the Senate right now. I believe it's in the Senate. And for people who want to help out, because we did a show last year. I think I had Theo Gregory, Nancy Walton, and the president. And I had said then that in the next 5 years, it won't be no public schools. And Pastor D came on here and said that they're gonna be like the liquor stores. They're gonna be on every corner, and it's starting to see that. But I'm glad that State Representative Charles Potter put a bill in to at least stop it and try to get it under control.
Well, let me tell you something, Joyce.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that bill is really necessary or not. Charter schools are failing right now terribly. They're proving themselves to be a false hope concept. And if you think about it, I mean, now there are some good charter schools, and they can do good, but we have an education system that probably needs some more fixing, but it can educate our kids. It's a public system, it's a free system. That's part of our heritage to have that. And the idea that we can only fix it by going to charter schools, what I fear is that these charter schools are simply gradually becoming a private school that's paid with public money.
That's what it is.
And I think we have to, as I say, I don't know if Charles Bill's really necessary now, although it's okay, but because we've had 3 new announcements of failings just this week in charter schools, and 3 more that are not going to be able to get their charter. And so we have to say, wait a minute, can we afford setting these things up and then having them fail in that manner?
You know what the problem I have is that I don't see Cab Callaway, I don't see some of the better schools coming on 28 recruiting.
Well, Cab Callaway is actually not a charter school. It's a what they call a magnet.
Okay, magnet chart, but what I'm saying is again, but I don't see none of these great schools coming on Channel 28 being recruiting our children. And that's, if it's good enough for one sector, it should be good enough for another sector. And that's my whole point. All them good schools, I don't see them on 28. And if it's good for you, it should be good for me. And that's where, I mean, I have a problem. I'd like to definitely do another show about charter schools and have some serious facts and things again.
Julius, when I was growing up in Wilmington, I walked my grade school, and county executive Austin, we went to the same grade
Walked
school.
together.
We walked down the
The whole hand.
28th and Monroe, Christ Our King Grade School. And then I walked over to Salesiana for a year,
So did
8
I.
blocks away.
That was a long walk.
Yeah, and then I transferred over to Piesta Pond. So I walked to school, and it was great. You know, I walked to my high school, my grade school, and it really gave a sense of community that's missing today.
That long walk.
You don't have that community. And I'm hoping that if they ever do revive a high school in Wilmington, that Piesta Pond would be that location. It's an excellent building. The field's already built. The gymnasiums are already there. Swimming pool's there.
Yes, that's swimming pool? Oh, yeah, across. Yeah, okay.
Swimming pool, track. And right now it's 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. So I really think it's being underutilized. So
Just if I could add to that, John, every time I drive up Van Buren Avenue and I look at that building, it says to me that's a high school.
It was a great high school.
This is what it looks like now.
Like I said, we're gonna be all over the place. Senator, I'm gonna ask you about energy. You know, renewable program energy. What's your take on that?
Well, as you know, I started a thing called the Sustainable Energy Utility, and not to give all of what it does, but it's set up to actually market sustainable energy in direct opposition to those who are marketing energy to sell for profit. And so we've had quite a few successes, very successful program, but I'll tell you about one of the things inside it that is most important. We did a bond issue. It's the first ever in the country. It was $72 million in 1 year that all went to energy efficiency. That's the most any state, anywhere, has spent in 1 year on energy efficiency, by far. And just to put it in perspective, we did $72 million worth of work. It didn't have $1 of ratepayer money, not $1 of taxpayer money. It was all privately financed. And if you put it in perspective, if the state of New York, on a per capita basis, did the same amount of energy efficiency that we did with that program, they would do $1.6 billion worth.
I want to ask you, what do y'all, everybody here, then we're going to go to a commercial, and then we're going to come back and take a phone call. I believe, again, in trade. What I mean by that, kids learning a trade. Since the 70s, it's been taken out of schools. I know my brother, Michael, taught my nephews how to do electrician work. these guys can go, my nephews them can go anywhere. They can do panel, they can do everything. If you teach these kids trade, you won't have to worry about that. And with the school debt, most of the average student right now is coming out of school with a $30,000, $40,000 debt. They can't get a job. How can we bring the trades back in and bring the college debt down? Because, I mean, it's killing family. I've seen so many good kids who getting A's and B's. Families can't afford school, and then I see the banks suck all these kids up as tailors, like a bank teller, which these kids had the highest grade average, but they can't afford school.
Well, they could go to the seed program and get 2 years
Yeah.
paid. But yeah, look,
What about the trade, though? Anybody
Yeah.
have an opinion on
Tell you,
the trade?
you can't find black trades below the canal where they're building 4,000 homes. And we applied for a grant last year. We met Tech this year. We're going to try to get large numbers of minority kids and teach them a trade: electrical, carpentry, plumbing, because you learn that, you learn it for life. And then we're going to talk to developers that are building these 2,000 homes apiece, and we're going to talk to them about hiring these kids. We met with Tech on Friday, and we put it was a very multi-million-dollar grant. We lost it last year because we didn't have the developers saying they would hire. So we're fixing that now, and we hope to be able. But you drive around, you won't find very many young men and women in the trades, and you don't have anybody getting jobs at college anymore. So let's forget about that.
Right.
But you teach somebody electrical work, and you teach them carpentry work. They can do work in the
But they
neighborhood.
could be they also could be self-efficient.
They can run their own business.
You got thousands of houses. Everybody house, somebody needs some work done. So they don't have to work for them. They can be out there on their own. Somebody needs something done. And I believe that the jails would be cut in half if these kids, I see them when they come to the port.
The
A
only
lot of
thing
these
hiring in the city is the street.
Yeah. When these kids come to the port, I see they give up the street life.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
why we need-
but we have to definitely do
Jobs.
more investing in our kids. I mean,
You bring
know,
somebody out of prison with all these great programs, and you have no jobs for them. What's their opportunity?
you know. Can we go to a commercial and come right back? All right, thank you. We like to take some phone calls. If Ivan, you can put the phone number up. But while Ivan's putting the phone number up, I'd like to.
So getting back to that issue about trade and jobs and things, and Senator McDowell briefly touched on that $70 million bond deal. I mean, that's a lot of jobs for a lot of people in the trades, insulating work, plumbing work, and things like that. Plus, Delaware is like number 7th per capita in solar installations in the entire country. So through his energy conservation outfit, the Sustainable Energy Utility, there's been a lot of activity that would normally happen here in the state. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for
I
that.
try to bring solar panels to. I think they got a great program in D.C. and was trying to bring it here. I mean, I just think that we could. The community got to also organize and talk to their politicians too, and let them know how they feel and support. You know, put some pressure. Let them know their concerns.
Right.
You know. Also, what do you think about Cuoco's bill opt out? Anybody have anything about his legislation bill about opt out? I think it's House Bill 50.
I think there's a hearing on Wednesday in the House Education Committee on that bill.
I don't think I've read it yet, Julius.
Explain it.
Go ahead, you probably explain it better than me.
Oh, that's the bill that would allow parents to opt out of the those tests they give,
Oh, yeah.
3rd, 8th, and 10th grade. So I think Representative Kowalka and many others feel that such an emphasis on testing and not on educating.
Hello, you on the air?
Hey, I'm really enjoying your show about jobs. Now, I'm sure you guys are extremely unhappy with the environmentalists that killed all the jobs over at the data center. They killed the jobs by trying to oppose dredging. They're killing the jobs by opposing all these new real estate projects. What are you guys going to do about all these liberal environmentalists who happen to be Democrats?
I'm
Okay,
gonna kill that. That's
we're
my
gonna-
brother. I'm gonna kill him when I get home.
We're gonna let him answer the question. And your brother said hi.
That was a setup.
Okay, yeah.
That's
yeah.
my brother,
I
Doc.
know.
Well, he's right.
But anybody got opinion on that?
Well, just like Colin Flaherty always is, he's ready to jump on that conservative bandwagon in a New York minute. But there's some truth to what he says. I mean, we have had some overzealous people, but we've also had people that have done a lot to help us clean up our waters and our air, and that's been a very, very necessary thing to get done. I don't know if you've read the stuff about the Medichem cleanup over at Delaware City. That's a really horrible pollution job, and just kids playing in that ground could really end up altered for life. And so I think that like many things in life, and when we try to do public policies, we need to find a good balance that meets the needs of all people if we can, and we come as close to that as we can.
Now, back to...
Well, Julie, he mentioned Medichem. I mean, there's a good example. Here's a company that was making all kinds of mainly pesticides, and they just left one day. And they left the state and the federal government with this enormous liability. I mean, there's a culture of just irresponsibility, and the state and county and the federal government was left with the bill on that. It was an enormous Superfund site, and still it's going to continue for years and years and years. Groundwater, it's polluting the drinking water. There's contamination and hazardous waste in the soil.
Hello, you on the air?
Yeah, I'm calling in reference to the situation, man, down at the port.
Okay, I'm listening. What's your question?
Yeah, in reference to the situation down at the port. Why did y'all raise the bar up?
They raised the bar because... Go ahead. Well, let him just answer the question. And what he means by that, something's wrong with the phone because it's not showing numbers. They raised the port, we had a contract, and they raised the hours because so many people, when guys make the union, and once they make the union, they get insurance. They got part-time people getting a bunch of insurance and getting everything, and they got so much work's ready to come, and so part of it was that they raised the hours. They do this all the time in the other unions too. So now instead of 800, it'll be 1,000 hours. But the people who come down there to work, it's sustainable. They get it all the time. So that's why, because of it's going to be so much more work coming in there. We got 2 cranes coming. They got a lot more work's going to be coming. So it's part of negotiations. That's what they do. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that is a union issue, and we have public policies here that allow unions to organize and to represent the workers, and I think we want to keep that. And that's as far as we should go in terms of public policy. We shouldn't dictate how the details work out.
Right, and one of the other things too is that the PERB had ruled that the port that they had to hire full-time people, and they were going to end up making the whole port be part-time too. So we got that straight. Hello, you on the air?
Yes, I have a question for Senator McDowell. I know you're very passionate about renewable energy. Are you interested in bringing any projects like solar panel installation or having homeowners have the opportunity to put solar panels on their homes to reduce their electric bill?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm sorry.
She's at go ahead.
Absolutely, we're interested in that. And as John Flaherty pointed out just a minute ago, when we started up the SEU, which has a very strong solar photovoltaic program, we went from 34th in the nation to 7th in the nation. And we're hoping to climb up a little bit more this year. We've got a couple of people out there, California and Arizona, that are really tough to get ahead of. But we have done good. We need to do more. She asked specifically about getting it to people's homes, and I think maybe she was aimed at asking about low-income folks' homes. And we are looking, Julius, at a couple of programs in other states that we want to import. One is called City Energy, and it would help low-income people have solar on the roof by having a co-investor in the solar panels.
Okay. You on the air? Hello, you on the air?
Maybe not.
He hung up.
I have another cigarette.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Is this Julius?
Yes.
This is Joyce Norwood. Hi, Thomas.
Hello, how are you?
How you doing?
Okay, how you guys doing? I've
Okay.
been out
We're
of
good.
circulation for a while, Thomas. You know I lived in Dunleavy.
Yep, I do.
Okay, and I've been blind for several years.
Oh, I'm sorry to
I
hear
just
that.
got, I'm sorry to tell you all this, but I just got my eyesight back about a year ago.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good
Wonderful.
thing. And you gotta look at us funny-looking guys on TV.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the show, I tell you. I have a question.
Go ahead.
My question is, someone told me this, does it charge to get a job at the Port of Wilmington?
You have to buy a TWIC card, and that's from the federal government after 9/11. It's $130 to get a TWIC card, and once you get a TWIC card, you do a drug test, and you're ready to go.
Okay. Because I said, well, if a person don't have a job, how you gonna charge them? They need money.
Well, they normally they'll once you get most everybody who I know wants to get the TWIC card, they get work, and they'll definitely they'll make that $130 back in no time.
Oh, I bet. Look, I appreciate you talking on this. I had no idea the amount of jobs that are at the port.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this, though. And the part where you were talking about trades in school, that is the utmost important thing.
That's that. You got that right. But
Oh, yes, I'm enjoying it. Do you remember my name, Julius?
yes, I do, baby. I
Where
remember.
do you
your
know
name.
me from?
How about if you call back after the TV show? I mean, more people want to call in.
I know, but I just want to tell you, the NAACP.
Oh.
Okay, talk to you later.
All right, baby. Bye bye.
Hey, bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. But I'm glad you can see us too now. 'Cause I know we look funny. But again, what do you think about? You going to a meeting for us next week with Greg Levin, Senator? I think it's Greg Levin, about right to work. You want to mention something about
Greg
that?
Lavelle?
Yeah, Greg Lavelle. I'm sorry.
Right to work for less money.
Yeah, right. It means, that's exactly what it means, and it's simply a phony statement. It's a phony idea. It's an idea that I don't think has any place in a state that has a long and successful policy of allowing people to join together in a union, to work together, to see
Hold
that-
on for a second.
to see that they are not just depressed into the lowest kind of wages for work. A person who's going to work for a living, give their 40 hours a week, whatever it is, they should come home with a decent paycheck. They should have rights in the workplace.
You on the air?
Yes. I was wondering, are you in the market for hiring women down at the port? And if so, when?
Well, for us, the cutoff line was January 31st, but there's a lot of women down there. But longshoremen on the other side, they're still hiring, and I don't have their number. But matter of fact, he's got a big contract with one of the car dealerships, I believe. But I would just call the tape down there and find out. 'Cause like we got about 5 or 6 different unions, so we all do different type of work. But yeah, they definitely hire women though.
Okay, thank you very much, Julius.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
bye-bye. Okay. So, anybody else want to comment on right to work state?
Well, I want to talk about the jobs on the blue collar aspect. $70 million bond deal that Senator McDowell was talking about. That is a huge bond deal. In the last 7 or 8 years, the cost of solar has dropped dramatically. The cost of manufacturing the solar is probably dropped in half. The panels, the efficiency of those panels has increased by about 25 or 30%. The installation and the permitting on the local level, they're getting used to that. So you're seeing a lot more, it's becoming what they call grid parity. It's almost as cheap to have solar as it is to just buy it directly from the energy company. But it's clean energy, it's sustainable energy, and it's through the sustainable energy utility, and through some other green energy programs, you're seeing a lot more people get involved in solar installation, solar maintenance, and it's really, and the permitting process is being smoothed out. So, and the other thing is, one of the largest producers and makers of the components that go in the solar is DuPont Company, right here in
May
Wilmington.
not be here.
Yeah.
Right to work.
Go ahead.
Labor's down to about 7%. I don't know why that's a threat. But the fact is, the economist said we have the lowest wage growth in the country. So, yeah, we need, more unions.
Yeah.
Less Amazon.com's paying $10 an hour.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? The productivity's up 200%, but wages are down.
And all across the country because the corporations have taken over and they run the whole damn thing. Both sides of the House and Senate are all
I see is dollar stores being fixed. dollar stores being built.
Yeah,
Wawa's being built.
buy gold.
You can't sustain a living like that.
Or not.
And
That's what's happening.
and I don't understand. What do you think about infrastructure building? Like all the bridges, I was reading a couple things that were, a couple kids that got killed because
I think we need to do it.
concrete
So
fell
you
off.
can't export. If you can do that, we need to fix our infrastructure.
But that's,
spend some money.
why don't we do that? Why don't we put some money in it to fix the state of Delaware as far as our infrastructure? That would create a lot of jobs right there.
I put out millions on sewers, and that's the only I can control. But I do think we need to spend a lot of money in infrastructure right now because we're the 50th state in the union, and we're about to lose some other big corporations. I think we got to. It happened in 08, and our governor. This is a great governor we got. He came in as the house of cards was falling. He's doing his best to try to keep it, and he works every day at it. So but we've got to take advantage of our strengths, and I think our strength's the port, and nobody should be trying to fight that out. The environment is a lot of things, but it's also bullets in the city.
Well, I'm gonna throw something out there and denial. Now, you mentioned the governor.
Yep.
No, let me
In
finish.
a positive light.
I understand that.
Get
And
that straight.
I understand that. Don't worry. They got film. They'll rewind this. There in 16, there would be the seat would be open in 16. And what's the lineup? Anybody like to know what the lineup is that you hear? I mean, I can throw some names. I tell you what we'll do.
You talking about for governor?
Yeah, for governor. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm gonna raise my hand first. This is how I see the lineup. If Bo doesn't go, if Bo says he's not running for whatever reason, and just say for right now, Bo says he won't go. So this is the lineup I see, in no special order. So don't. I see Tom Gordon. I see John Cornyn. And I see Matt Dinn. That's just anybody to chime in.
You never know by that point.
Well, there's a
Say
lot
that,
of.
wait a minute, hold up. Wait a minute. I heard somebody whisper. We say it again.
I'm meeting Bo's #1 campaign manager tomorrow morning at some point. He's still running.
Okay.
That's right.
And I've never heard him say anything different. He called me about 3 weeks ago about a press statement that he was going to put out, and he held off on it. So everything I hear directly from his campaign is that he's running, and I'm going to be on this committee.
I'll say the same. Bo is my guy. I'm for him, and until I hear it from his lips that he's not running, so he's running. As far as I'm concerned, and he'll have my support. Now, you mentioned a lot of other names, and they're all people I really like. This guy sitting next to me is, he's been one of the most straightforward executives I've ever had to deal with. One of the things I've always said about Tom Gordon: you can go to him, you ask him a question. You want some help with
Gets me
something?
in trouble a lot.
And he'll give you a straight answer. Yes, no, or I got to check, I'll get back to you. If he says that, he'll get back to you. John Carney, I love to death. I support him in everything he does. I hope he stays and runs to keep our seat in Congress.
Okay.
Love him. Matt Dinn is one of the brightest young guys to come down the pike in a long time.
All right.
And
Well,
so you got a great
Same seat your
class.
dad used to have, isn't it?
Yeah, but let me reword this thing because this.
Hey,
that-
reword it, you're not
no,
gonna get
that didn't give me no place. Let me reword that. Didn't give me no place.
There's a great unknown here, Julius. 8 years ago, if you took a poll, who's running for president, Obama wouldn't even register a blip.
At this time.
at this time in 2007. So we can never tell.
Let me reword this again. Okay. Bo don't go. I heard what you said. Bo don't go. Now okay, if Bo go, we know everybody else is out. Now, let's get back to this again. Let me try to reword this. We'll start this way and come up. If Bo don't go, what's your lineup?
Well, without the convention and with the primary, anybody can run. And my point about Obama 8 years ago at this time, he wasn't even a factor at all.
You know all these political
No, I'm
issues.
saying you're.
Okay.
Everybody's got politics on your show, and you get politics.
No, well, you got the county executive, you got Congressman Carney, there's a lot of good quality candidates out there.
I heard George Smiley wants to run.
Now you're gonna give him.
I'm not going to touch that.
He'd be informative.
All I
You
want to
need a change agent. He'd be a
All
change
I want to say also too is that they having let me see, PS is having a reunion. PS is having a reunion. I think it's June the 12th, and I know TY is going to be. They having a party, having Blue Magic, and you can call Charles Potter's office. I think Tyler Brooks, TY, we call him TY. He's going to be the DJ, and for you guys, y'all probably don't know. I know you know Blue Magic. You guys don't know Blue Magic, they're a good group, and it's going to be, they have a nice concert. It's going to be at PS. And again, PS is having a reunion. I think it's June the 12th. And everybody needs to get tickets. You can call Charles Potter at his office to get tickets to this, because it's going to be a great show. I believe it's June the 12th. And also, do not forget about the sickle cell run and walk. It's the 13th of September. Last year, every year it's getting bigger. Last year, they had over 600 and something people there. They even had to turn people away. So this year we're gonna have much more, and nobody will be turned away again. So start practicing, getting your walk and run on. We had over 600 people at the sickle cell walk and run, and it was very nice. People had a good time. The seniors, people from 90 to 6 months over there. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. We got about 3 minutes, so I want to just get you to say something. Get Senator McDowell and Tom Gordon to say something, and I'll close it.
Well, you talked about politics. There's a great unknown. 8 years ago, the mayor of Philadelphia, Michael Nutter, was in last place out of 5 candidates. And he came up with this very innovative ad campaign with his daughter, Olivia. He went from 5th to 1st place, and he got elected mayor. So things can change in a heartbeat, just like that.
Joyce, this has been a great panel to be on, but I want to upstage you a little bit. I want to say, when you talk about sickle cell anemia, your wife runs a great program for sickle cell awareness. It's a very, very important. She's a PhD nurse, for those who don't know, and she has a wonderful program to help people get early awareness of sickle cell disease so that it can be treated, and it can be treated if caught early enough. And so I applaud your wife, Joyce, for doing that.
I have to add to that, she wrote a program and got stolen from her, but she's still at it, and we fund her, and we think it's one of our best investments. And I want to we have Sleeping Under the Stars at Rockwood this weekend coming up. So.
And also with Tom Gordon, there was a $10 million grant for sickle cell, and my wife organized it 2 years and everything, and
This county government.
And they removed her name off of it, we feel, and that would be dealt with. But you got a lot of people from our community doing great things, and it's a sad day when people can take $10 million from you after you organize it. You set the meeting up for 2 years. You did everything. You play fair. You do everything. You go to school. You do everything they tell you to do, and they can come in and just boom, But believe what I say. We're not sitting by just letting it happen, and I won't say anything else besides that. I wasn't gonna bring it up, but again, we'll be back next month. But just get involved. Start calling your legislators. We have to get these training for our kids to get jobs, but they need to be trained. We need to trade. We need to trade, and trade again. Help our kids to stop this crime problem. And we'll see you next month. Thank you. Thank everybody.